Hello, everyone. My name is Kelly Oliver, and I have the pleasure of serving as the Animal Health Planner for the Kansas Department of Agriculture. Welcome to the sixth and final Secure Food Supply webinar of 2023. I appreciate you taking time today for this webinar. For the next 60 minutes, we will be hearing from two national organizations that have built resources that will support producers and state animal health officials in disease response efforts. Before the session begins, a couple of housekeeping items. During the presentation portion of the session, all participant microphones will be muted by the meeting host. If you have a question during the presentation, please submit your question using the chat button at the bottom of your screen. KDA staff will be monitoring the chat for questions to be asked at the conclusion of the presentation. Lastly, this session is being recorded and will be posted online next week. At this time, I would like to introduce Michaela Hanselman. Michaela serves as the Director of Regulatory Affairs for the National Milk Producers Federation. She is also the program lead for the Farm Biosecurity, focused on protecting the health of dairy farmers, herds, and employees. Michaela, welcome. I will now turn it over to you to share your presentation.
Great, thanks, Kelly. Give me a second while I share these slides. Can everyone see them?
You are in presenter mode on our end.
Oh, okay. Let me swap. Better?
Yep, looks great.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Well, thank you to Kelly for having me today. As she said, I'm with the National Milk Producers Federation, and I'm excited to tell you about farm biosecurity. So before I jump into what farm biosecurity is, I wanted to talk a little bit about the National Farm Program. For those that aren't familiar with it, the Farm Program is the consumer and customer assurance program for the dairy industry. And it's the vehicle in which we are implementing farm biosecurity. So farm is really just highlighting those positive things that farmers are already doing to take really great care of their herd and employees. So when I talk about the farm program, the participants in the program are the cooperatives, the processors, association, and then of some individual farms. And they are the ones that choose to be a part of the program. And then the farms that are part of those organizations are then enrolled as well. So a key part of this in implementing the farm program is second party evaluators, which go on farm to actually do the evaluations. This will make more sense when I talk about it later, but they're the ones actually implementing the farm program on the ground and going to the farms and looking at the breakdown of the animal care standards specifically. So as I said, this is kind of the vehicle in which we are implementing the farm biosecurity program. So in 2020, National Milk received USDA NADPREP funding to develop farm biosecurity. And that is the fifth pillar. So if you look at this nice tree, it kind of outlines all the different areas of the National Dairy Farm Program. And biosecurity falls under animal care, of course. So with farm biosecurity, we wanted to develop kind of two arms. The first arm being everyday biosecurity, and then the second arm being enhanced biosecurity, to really take a stair-step approach to getting dairy farms prepared for a foot and mouth disease outbreak if that ever were to happen. I also just really wanted to touch on why we thought the farm program would be a great vehicle to do this. So the farm program represents 99% of the milk supply, farm animal care specifically, with 141 participants and almost 400 second party evaluators, which, as I mentioned, I'll talk more later about how we plan to use that network for farm biosecurity. And then I also just wanted to highlight everyone who has helped us put farm biosecurity together, specifically the work on the Everyday Biosecurity Manual. We had a great mix of state animal health officials, dairy farmers, veterinarians, and cooperative representation to really make sure that we put together great end products for everyone involved. So farm everyday biosecurity, as I said, that's the first step to really getting dairy farmers to think about biosecurity. Everyday biosecurity is the first step to reaching enhanced biosecurity that will be needed for that foreign animal disease outbreak. And we made sure that this is where the secure milk supply is introduced to readers. So if you'll look, the Everyday Biosecurity Manual includes 7 biosecurity building blocks with best management practices, all of which contribute to improving animal health when put in place. The content aligns directly with all the other farm programs, so that when discussed with producers, they'll already be familiar with many of the concepts that we were discussing. And you'll see that these building blocks also align with the secure milk supply building blocks as well. We worked really hard to put together a bunch of different resources that can be utilized by dairy producers and state animal health officials. So one of the things the Everyday Biosecurity Manual teaches is disease prevention. So we created a handout for that. And we worked to build on some of the other resources that had been developed by the Center for Food Security and Public Health at Iowa State University. If you look at the steps in the center specifically, we kind of updated and tweaked those to be specific to dairy. And then we also created this dairy premises identification handout, which I think is probably one of the best that we've put together, because it really lays out for dairy producers what all the different IDs are that they are dealing with and what we're talking about when we say that you need a Prem ID for your enhanced biosecurity plan. So next I want to jump into the Farm Biosecurity Database. That's our main tool that we've developed to help farmers put together their enhanced biosecurity plans. As part of the grant, we had certain objectives that we had to meet, and this was one of the key ones, in addition to actually doing an exercise and testing if this database could do what we say it was going to do. So as I'm sure most of you are familiar with, the Foreign Animal Disease Preparedness and Response Plan, the movement standstill does say that a standstill does not affect movement of milk, but states may choose to implement additional or alternative guidance when it comes to that. And as you know, when it comes to dairy farms, you can't really stop a cow from giving milk. So you need to keep that milk moving as fast as possible. So just to give a little background, USDA funded the creation of the SMS plan beginning in 2009. The guidance documents were created with input from industry, states, and academic partners. The SMS plan focuses on the ability to move that milk. And then cattle semen and embryo movement guidance is provided by the Secure Beef Supply. The summary plan includes several components, including milk movement permits. And so following the biosecurity surveillance and record keeping guidance in the SMS plan facilitates dairy industry preparedness for and response to an FMD outbreak. So with Farm Biosecurity, we were really trying to get dairy farmers to start thinking about what would happen if there was an FMD outbreak and how they would handle that, and to get those plans in place. So I'm sure all of you have seen this table, or most of you. So this is the permit guidance for cattle, semen, and embryos. And as you can see, number 2 is biosecurity measures listed in the biosecurity checklist are in place and acceptable to responsible reg officials. So this is what we really focused on when we were doing the database. One of the resources is the biosecurity self-assessment checklist, which you'll see that all of the key areas aligns with what was in Everyday Biosecurity. We really tried to make this as smooth of a process as possible to go from everyday to enhanced biosecurity. And so they can read through this checklist and determine if their current biosecurity plan is missing any of the items listed, or it kind of gives them a glimpse of what they need to put together if they don't have a biosecurity plan already in place. And this is just a really good starting point for producers, and also available on the Secure Milk Supply website. So moving into Farm Enhanced Biosecurity. So basically Farm Enhanced Biosecurity took the Secure Milk Supply and brought it under Farm Biosecurity umbrella. So if you go to the farm program's website, which the link is at the bottom, you'll be able to go directly to the Enhanced Biosecurity website, which has all of the resources that we've put together, including a tutorial on how to use the database, and for state officials specifically, how to review the plans in the database. And it also gives you an option to sign up for the training that we've put together as well. So specifically about the biosecurity database, as I mentioned, we wanted to make it as smooth as possible for producers to put these plans together. So using the farm program database, we basically created an online portal for producers to put their enhanced biosecurity plans into. And as I said, it aligns with the SMS Enhanced Biosecurity Plan checklist and template. And it really just walks you through the steps one by one. It's very easy, very user-friendly. And I just wanted to show you that again, if you look, it's all the same areas that get talked about throughout everyday biosecurity into enhanced biosecurity. And then you'll see that there's places to put specifically for your Prem ID and everything that needs to be included in that enhanced biosecurity plan. So once a producer puts this plan together, or we've also set it up for those farm program evaluators, which I mentioned at the beginning, that do the animal care evaluations. We've set it up that they can help producers put their enhanced biosecurity plans together and implement the plan into the database for them. The producer will be emailed both a checklist, which, as I said, gives that nice snapshot of what they're doing and what they need to be doing. So if manure management, they check not in place, then they know that they need to work on that. Whereas feed stuff, they do have in place. And then it also gives them a printout of their full plan so they can put that in their own files. There's also an option to upload their map with everything laid out. And then once everything is input into the database for the plan, they also have the option to share it with state animal health officials. So it's a voluntary share, completely the producer's choice. And they can share it pre-outbreak for review, which we're very excited about, because we all know that when an outbreak occurs, everything becomes madness. Or also they can share it during outbreak, of course. The one caveat of using the database is that training is required for access. So as I mentioned, there is a farm biosecurity enhanced online training, which you can access, you can request to take by going to the National Dairy Farm website. It's 4 modules, plus access to a ton of resources. It's about 45 to 50-minute seat time, and it really goes over an introduction to biosecurity, preparing to create an enhanced biosecurity plan, protecting dairy operations, and then managing movements. So it really gives you all the basics you need to put together that enhanced biosecurity plan. And then you can also utilize videos that we've developed to learn more about the database, and then for state animal health officials to learn more about how to review those plans. As I've kind of mentioned throughout the call, one of the ways we're implementing farm biosecurity is by using those farm evaluators and participants. So as I said, we have around 400 animal care evaluators, and we hope to use that network who are already on the farm, already doing evaluations, to take the training and then help their producers put together these enhanced biosecurity plans and get them into the database for hopefully state animal health official review pre-outbreak if they're able to do that. Another one of our objectives for the USDA NADPREP funded project, and I wanted to give a shout out to KDA, was to conduct an information exchange from the farm biosecurity database to a state that wanted to review an enhanced biosecurity plan. So we collaborated with KDA and SES to incorporate the biosecurity database virtual exchange into their 3-day FMD functional exercise in December of 2022. And this was huge because it helped us see what we needed to improve. It helped us see what we needed to improve, and really gave us a good look at what we could do and what we couldn't with the database. So a big thank you to KDA for that. And then the last thing I'll touch on is kind of why isn't it going? sorry, my computer is not cooperating with me. The last thing I'll touch on is just our next step. So as I said, we have lots of resources available, from the videos to the training to these beautiful prep guides, all available on our website, nationaldairyfarm.com or the Secure Milk website. And we want people to use them. And if you can't find them, please email me. And then in addition, we are applying for more NADPREP funds to hopefully add database features and more training content, and fingers crossed, add in-person trainings for enhanced biosecurity plans to all of the resources we have available. With that, that's my email. If anyone has any follow-up questions, or I can take some now. I think, Kelly, right?
Yeah, so we've been monitoring the chat and we do have one question that came in. And that is, as a producer, what is the process of getting started using the farm biosecurity database?
So, I would guess you probably already have an account in the database, but if not, it's not a big deal. You can either email me or go onto the farm website and request access. That email will also come to me and I will get you set up. And then basically you go into the database and you just create, it says create evaluation, and you can start filling in your plan.
Perfect. Thank you, Michaela. And if any of our participants have questions for Michaela, we will have time at the end that will capture those questions again, but you can put those in the chat as you think of them. So we're going to move on to our next presenter. Our next presenter comes to us from the National Pork Board. Dr. Patrick Webb serves as the Assistant Chief Veterinarian. He is the lead for the Pork Checkoff funded FAD Prevention and Preparedness Platform, AgView. Dr. Webb, thank you so much for your time and joining us today. I'll now turn it over to you. You are muted.
Sorry about that. All right. Well, thank you very much for the invitation today to spend a little time talking about AgView, which is our opt-in database. Oh, are you able to hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. My apologies. Okay. This is our free opt-in database dashboard technology that's available to pork producers and packers, livestock markets, feed mills, renderers. Basically, it is a tool that was built by the National Pork Board to support the ability to get information, locations, movements, secure pork supply documentation, laboratory test results, get the type of information securely shared over at the producer's permission to our state animal health officials, either in the midst of a foreign animal disease investigation or an outbreak of highly contagious foreign animal disease like African swine fever, classical swine fever, foot and mouth disease. The National Pork Board provided the majority of the funding to develop this product. We also received some funding from Foreign Ag Service and USDA to be able to launch this product in November of 2020. What you see on your screen here, this is the landing page. This is where we send those folks that would like to create AgView accounts. We send them to this location, and account creation is pretty simple. You click on, I want to create an account, and very similar to any other online accounts that you set up, you have the ability then to register. I bring this up because it reminds me, when we first launched AgView back in 2020, we only had 2 account types in there. The first account type was a producer organization, and we had packer and producer locations in there. So that allowed packers and producers to be able to create accounts and then load their premises information. But then we also evolved the account structure to support what we call account management partners. In the pork industry, we have large veterinary clinics and swine management companies that do not own pigs, but they manage pigs on behalf of a producer. And those clinics would like access to their producers' AgView accounts. And so we've built a way for producers to permission the sharing of their information to their veterinarians or to their management company. We also have an official state agency account type. This is supporting a program or a pilot program called the U.S. Swine Health Improvement Program. That's based on the poultry industry's National Poultry Improvement Program. And it's related to being able to demonstrate certain criteria related to locations, movements, surveillance, and biosecurity for enrolled producers that want to be certified at the site level for being monitored for classical swine fever and African swine fever. And so the official state agency account helps our state animal health officials do that function as the official state agency, or in some cases, the state organization, to be able to certify locations. And then we have another account type that just came out for official agency review. This allows USDA the ability to review what we call swine production health plans. Swine production health plans are a method by which producers can work with the sending and receiving state animal health officials to move pigs across state lines utilizing interstate movement reports. Cattle side, if you're familiar with that, they're often called commuter agreements. We often use the word commuter agreement because it's a lot easier than saying swine production health plan. But we do have a feature in AgView that helps support developing these type of commuter agreements and getting them approved. And so we've expanded our account types based on user request and our board's direction to support certain programs in the industry. But the primary goal for AgView is to be able to share the location and movement data that a state animal health official might need during a foreign animal disease investigation, to be able to share it immediately in a secure manner, as well as being able to share over the secure pork supply plans and any laboratory test results if we have an outbreak. So I'm going to jump in here to a producer account and just kind of show you how it looks on the inside. So our pork producers, and like I said, packers, we have a packer location type, we have a feed mill location type now, we have a rendering location type now. Basically, that opens up AgView for use by folks within the industry that want to track movements of pigs, movements of semen, feed movements, mortality movements, or rendering movements. And so it allows and expands the user base. But currently, we've got producers, livestock markets, and various packers that have AgView accounts that are actively sharing their locations and their movement information into AgView in preparation for being able to share that over with the state vet if it's requested because of a foreign animal disease investigation or an outbreak. And so, excuse me, producers can add as many people to the organization as they want to, and they have the ability to give them specific roles. And so it allows all people across the organization to have access to the data. And what's important is that they have the ability to visualize data in AgView. And so locations show up as blue dots in AgView, and our movement lines that demonstrate the movements of livestock or pigs within the production system. They show up as blue lines, although we do have the ability now for producers to customize the color of those lines. And that is due to producers have requested the ability to do conditional formatting. I'd like to see my wean pig movements as a blue line. I'd like to see my call sow movements as a red line. It just allows you to get more out of the data on the map based on the criteria that you've set for the different colors of the line. So it's improving that situational awareness, or that ability to gain information quickly from the data as it's displayed on the map. So producers have the ability then to upload their premises information into AgView. And once they're uploaded, they can drill down on that particular premises and look at the details that they have provided. They can also look at the movements in and out of that premises. We have the ability for them to search movements by Prem ID or the premises name. We have the ability to filter by date ranges and movement types. And so producers, once they get their data in, can actually do some sorting, searching and exporting of that data if they want to use that for production purposes. A lot of times when we encourage pork producers to work with their state animal health officials and the state-specific Every state kind of has their own way of doing secure pork. The next question I get is, well, what do I do with it once it's done? And so AgView provides the ability for the producer, once they have a completed plan, and whether or not it's approved at the state level, depending upon how the state wants to do that. Once that's all done and approved, or at a point where it can be uploaded into AgView, then that information can be uploaded into AgView by premises. We do have the ability with Iowa State, South Dakota State, and Missouri to be able to move laboratory diagnostic data into AgView. We have a few producers that are doing this for the endemic diseases. It's just an added benefit to the system for the producer to help drive some day-to-day value out of it. And we also have the ability for the producer to understand who they would be participating if they're participating in the U.S. SHIP pilot, the Swine Health Improvement Plan pilot. It would also tell them who they're participating with, and then the state of their verification in the program. Movement lines can also be accessed through the map view here, and you can be taken into their premises details. Again, the same type of sorting and searching is available. But usually when I get done with this part of it, the first question is, well, how did producers get data into AgView? From the perspective of the data that's flowing into AgView, if you look at the number of accounts that we have over 900 producer accounts in AgView. And out of the Pork Powerhouse top 40 production systems, which is based on the number of sows that they have, we have all but about 7 of those companies that have AgView accounts or are at various stages of getting data into it. If you look at state animal health officials, we have 41 state animal health official accounts that cover all the major swine producing states, and some of those that you'd be surprised that they had pigs. But so we've gotten some really good buy-in from the state animal health officials. And for the official state agencies for the U.S. SHIP pilot, I think we're at about 21 of the official state agencies that have an AgView account, which is beneficial to the pork producer. Pork producers just need to get one AgView account and get their data in there, and then they can participate in the U.S. SHIP pilot. They can get their data to the state animal health official in an emergency in a secure way that allows the producer to control the data sharing. That's important to our producers. For a lot of our producers out there, we have already gone and done the work to build a relationship with many of the third-party database providers that are out there. MetaFarms, Global VetLink, Maximus, Delphax Solutions, Cloud Farms, Prairie Systems, RabApp, those Pork Vet Solutions. These are all databases that exist out there for the sole purpose of providing value to pork producers and capturing and analyzing their data. And so a lot of the movement data that's coming into AgView, and we're coming up on 1 million movements for in total since we've launched. A lot of that movement data is coming in directly through the application programming interfaces, but it's the easy button for a producer. If a producer wants to create an account and they're a MetaFarms user, then we go through a very simple process by which MetaFarms has provided the information that they need to make the connection between the two database systems and have data flow. And so anything that we can do to make things easy for our pork producers in being able to create and populate an AgView account, we've done the work on the front side to help that. We do have the ability with AgView to pull in data from certain labs. Like I said, that's variable as to whether producers are utilizing that or not, but it's there as a tool if they need it or want it. We also have the ability for the state animal health officials through their AgView account to move the shared producer data related to locations and movements into their database of choice or record for their animal health programs at the state level. And so the one that you may have heard about that states will use during foreign animal disease outbreaks is the USDA's emergency management response system. And so we built the ability for the state animal health officials to move that data out of AgView and into what's called EMERS. Trace First has a product out there called Core One that states are using as an animal health database, and we have the ability for data to go between those two systems. And then USA Herds, which is a system that KDA uses. We will, at the end of December, be almost complete with the application programming interface for data to be able to move from AgView, the State Vet's AgView account, into Herd. So that will provide an opportunity for AgView to kind of be that catcher's mitt of data where we force the standardization and then can share that information across states and to whatever data software product they want to use in order to manage the event. But going back to the user interface here and the map view. So, okay, well, I don't use a MetaFarms, or I'm not using a third-party database system, and I'm a show pig producer, or I'm a small producer that's raising less than 50,000 head a year, or marketing less than 50,000 head a year. What can I do to utilize AgView? And in that situation, or even if they're using paper-based systems, in that situation, AgView through the user interface actually allows producers to add movements through the map view from one location to the other, select the type of movement that it is, add the number of head and shipment, and if they want a movement reference ID, they can do that, but very easily add movements to their records using the user interface. And so we do have producers that are smaller producers that's how they're using AgView. They're using AgView as their database of records, since they don't have a parent database to feed in like a MetaFarms. And so that does allow a very quick and easy way for folks to get data into AgView. But we do have ways to set up movements. We can add movements through the movements tab here. We can add recurring movements. If you know that you're moving pigs off your sow farm every Monday or every third Monday, you can set that up. So that information is automatically ready to go into the system. So it allows some real easy ways for producers to use AgView's user interface. For those producers that really like spreadsheets, we do have CSV files that are templates that can be filled out and then the data uploaded through that. And we can also map our CSV templates. So if there's a producer that has a particular template that they like to use, we can map the column headings of that CSV file to AgView. And so they have minimal amount of changes on their CSV files they need to make in order to upload data into AgView. So in short, we've got highly technical ways through APIs to get it in. We've got user interface that allows the ease of additional movements. And then for folks that like to use spreadsheets, we can accommodate those as well. So if you look at the rest of kind of the producer side of it here, you have your map view, which we've talked about. We have the premises tab where we can sort, search, and export. We have movements where we can sort, search, and export. We can set up movements. We have a laboratory tab that allows that laboratory information coming from, let's say, Iowa State into AgView and make it visible to the producer by premises. We have the ability within the system for producers to be notified when a state vet is going to request data from their AgView account to a producer in their state. This allows the producer the opportunity then to review the request and then ultimately share that request or share their information specific to the state animal health official and what they need that data for. Like I said, a foreign animal disease investigation, an actual outbreak would be reasons that they would do that. And then we do have a feature within AgView that if a state vet sets up a disease control area in their AgView account and a producer who has a location in AgView that is in that control area or the surveillance zone around that, they would get notified that they would need to go through the steps of completing a permit request. And this helps producers understand situations where the rules are going to change based for movements based upon the situation related to the disease outbreak. States don't have to use this process, but it does provide a way for intrastate permitting to occur in a fairly easy way that can be easily reviewed and approved or denied by the state animal health official. So I'm going to jog on over here quickly to the second account type, just to give you a feel for the purpose of AgView. As I mentioned prior, really, this is all about getting data into the hands of state animal health officials minute one of a foreign animal disease investigation or an outbreak. So the state animal health officials, their managed organization page looks fairly similar to the producers page, but they have different icons over here on the left-hand side. Incidents, that was the original way that a state animal health official could request data from a producer in their AgView account by creating an incident, and then selecting the producer that they want to get information from and then requesting it. I'm just going to jump into this active incident here. You can see that I have the ability as the state vet to just request data from an individual site. I can also utilize disease control areas in the system to do more of a geography request. But really, this was the initial way that a producer would be contacted to share information with the state animal health official if there was a real problem related to an investigation or disease outbreak. But we had some forward-thinking producers, and they said, hey, you know what? I'm comfortable sharing my information with the state animal health officials in real time. And so we do have a opt-in feature for pork producers in their AgView account to be able to share location and movement information to their state animal health officials in real time, in peacetime. And so this peacetime map, if a KDA opened up their AgView account and they saw blue dots in there and subsequent movement lines, and I'll just show those here just for fun. Then they're actually visualizing movements as they occur in the pork producers AgView account. And so out of the 900 producers that have organizational accounts in AgView, we have over 100 producers that have already opted into permission data sharing. And so this provides an avenue for the state animal health official to actually get situational awareness related to movements in and out of their state in peacetime, as well as rapid access to that data if there's an investigation or an outbreak. So it's just another level of usefulness of the system that we hope that provides value to our state animal health officials and helps increase the preparedness. Laboratory test results, the state vets can upload those into their AgView account. Data sharing, basically to get data in there, they have the ability to do that upload. They can upload prems, they can upload lab, and so that adds some additional value to the state. They have the ability to review those permits that have been submitted by the producer's AgView account. And then our newest feature is we have the ability now for a producer or the account management partner that represents the producer to be able to put together and create a swine production health plan, this commuter agreement. And so this tab here is for the state animal health official. And this is where they would go to review and approve or request changes to those type of programs. And so they've got a lot more usefulness in the system than they originally had when we launched the product. And again, the important thing to remember is that while there is some immediate benefit to understanding what's going on in an outbreak, where you can have situational awareness very rapidly as to the potential scope and size based upon the visualization of this information on a map. The important thing to remember is while that data is there for them to utilize in real time, they do have the ability then to move that data over into the database of record or the animal health database that they want to use during the response. And so again, we have that ability to basically be that conduit for that data to move over. If the state vet wants to use it in the system too, they can do that. So we have like 41 state animal health officials that do have AgView accounts, live AgView accounts, which then for those producers in the state, those states that have AgView accounts, this facilitates that communications pathway in a safe and secure manner. The important thing to remember when you're a producer, all of the data that goes into AgView, a producer's AgView account, that is owned by the producer. That is producer data. The National Pork Board does not have access to any of that data whatsoever. That is held with a third party. Accenture is our developer that holds on to that information. And so from a security perspective, it's very secure, held very securely. And again, it is producer permission sharing. I do have producers that will email me and call me up and say, hey, can you share my data with the state animal health official? And I'll tell them, nope, I can't. That's not how that works because I don't have any access to it. And again, it's producer data. It's producer permission when it's shared, and producers can control the sharing. And that was important to our pork producers. Quickly here, just jump into another account type just to kind of show you some of how AgView works. For swine production companies or swine management companies, the large veterinary clinics, this is an account management partner account, and I can request my clients who have AgView accounts to be added to my dashboard and then have access to their information. So this is a one-stop shop for these swine management companies to access their clients' data and do work on their behalf. Again, you'll see the ability for creating a swine production health plan lies within the account management partner account. And so our swine management companies and those clinics that help producers set these things up have the ability to do that on behalf of their producers. The account management partner account, one of the bells and whistles that they're starting to really like is they can see all of their client base and all of the movements related to their clients in one map view in AgView. And people are starting to go, boy, this might pay off some dividends or be very valuable when we start to try to understand how endemic diseases may be moving through a client base or moving through a geographical region. And so I know that there's some of the larger vet clinics that are using AgView or exploring, how do I use this to educate my producers, and how do I use this to get more situational awareness to the endemic diseases. So that's kind of a cool tool, and I'm going to just pop in real quick to the official state agency. This is an account specific to the official state agency for the U.S. SHIP pilot. There's, I think, 30 states that are participating. 20 of these states have an AgView account, what we call the official state agency account. But this is a nice little account. It gives them a dashboard where they can understand where they are in the certification process for those producers that have agreed to participate. It allows the opportunity for them to navigate into the producer's account and verify certain attributes related to the program. The program, one of the things that a producer has to be able to demonstrate is the ability to provide a completed secure pork supply plan within 24 hours. And so within our system, we have it set up that the secure pork supply plan can be visualized by the official state agency and then verified using a toggle system here. And that's done basically through being able to go to where the documentation sits for the producer's plan and making sure that it's there. And with this producer, I'd have to work with them on getting their SPS documentation loaded because it's not there. Another criteria is, hey, you need the ability to share 30 days worth of movement data with the official state agency. And so we have built in the ability for that to be verified in the system here. And then once a site is certified, then there's a color change to that on the map here. And then we have the abilities to communicate with the folks that are leading the program to update the certified sites that are in the program. So it's a nice little database and dashboard that helps make the state vet or the official state agency, which could be the state vet or the state association, pork association, make their lives a little bit easier in trying to certify producers that are participating in the U.S. SHIP program. So with that, I will turn it back to leave plenty of time for questions. And thank you very much for listening to my presentation.
Thank you, Dr. Webb. Any questions for either of our presenters? You can put those over in the chat. Patrick, I did have one come in for you. Could you show us again where we would attach our secure pork supply plans as the producer?
Absolutely. All right, so I am logging into the producer account here. This is our practice account. And so it's there's a couple different ways that it can be done. I like to use the map view where I would go and let's say I want to upload the secure pork supply plan for Everly Sal 2. I can type that in here and the system would identify where that is for me. And then I can open up that site and go to the SPS documents. And then I can upload the file directly from my desktop or wherever I put it on my computer. You'll see that these have already been uploaded. This is one of the locations that we uploaded to demonstrate. But very easy to do from the map view. Go in, type in the name, open that premises up, and go directly to SPS documentation and drag and drop or upload the file. In some instances, if you're utilizing RabApp, which is a application out of NC State, some of the larger producers are using that to help digitize secure pork supply plans. They can also, RabApp can also move over secure pork supply plans into AgView on behalf of the producer if they permission it. But yeah, so for the majority of producers out there, the easy way of doing it is either tell RabApp to dump it over for you, or if you're not utilizing that, once your plans are completed and meet whatever the state objective is for approval, you just go to that location, click on the tab here, and upload. You can also do it from the premises here. You can put in the name or the prem ID. Most people don't have their prem IDs memorized, so you can search by the name. And it'll bring up my Everly sites and Everly finisher. I want Sal, view. Again, it gets me to the tab. So a couple ways of doing it, fairly easy.
Thank you. Any other questions for our presenters? You can put them in the chat or feel free to unmute. Okay, well, I am not seeing any more come in, but if you think of questions, feel free to reach out to me and I can pass those on to our presenters. So Patrick and Michaela, thank you so much for presenting today. We certainly appreciate your organizations providing these FAD preparedness resources for our producers in our industry. Participants, I hope you found the presentations over this past year valuable. The recording from this presentation will be available in the coming week. When I send that out, I will be including a survey to get your feedback on the topics that you would like to hear in the coming year. With that, thank you for joining us today and have a great afternoon.